Hey, Rockstars, thanks for joining our Wednesday night Zoom call. We have a sensational special guest tonight, Ray Higdon. You guys know who he is. You watch his Facebook Lives, his Periscopes. So honored that he has taken time out of his busy, crazy schedule, I'm sure, to just kind of pour into us a little bit. I have some questions that you guys asked and he's going to answer, but first he's going to tell us a little bit about his journey and who he is and what he does. So, Ray, take it away, and thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. So as Emily said, I'm Ray Higdon, and been full-time in the network marketing profession in one way or capacity since 2009. I am someone that had worked my way up corporate America to a pretty good salary, realized that just wasn't what I wanted to do because I was barely seeing my family, barely seeing my kids, spending more time with pictures of my kids than the real thing, and decided to go out on my own, which I did, and I actually failed. I failed at running my own business. And by the time I got reintroduced to network marketing, I was dead broke, in personal foreclosure, and was in a pretty tough spot. I decided to throw my all at this profession and actually became the number one income earner in a network marketing company that I joined while in foreclosure. And, since we decided earlier this year to sell our network marketing position to focus on coaching and training the industry as a whole. And so I've been very blessed to coach a lot of people. Right now we have, probably 6 coaching clients that have over 100,000 people in their team. We've probably coached maybe 20, 25 different $1 million a year earners inside network marketing. And so we've seen this profession from being number one earners to coaching different earners. And, so I'm be more than happy to bring some value tonight and hopefully help some people out. I'm not hearing anything.
I have to go back and forth and unmute myself. This would be more awesome. Okay. Well, I know some of your stuff, so I've been following you for quite a while. I actually found you on Periscope, and my team knows I'm a tough love kind of person. I'm from the South. I'm a Texan, so we have a Southern love, but we're really tough on our approach and being really direct. So a couple of my leaders have some questions for you. These are things they just don't want to hear me answer for them anymore. They want to hear it from the big guy. So the first one that came up a lot was, what is the ratio between social media and in-person interaction for your lead generation? Is it word of mouth? You a lot on social media? When you were in network marketing, what was your go-to?
So, one, I think it'll vary. I don't think there is no right ratio, for any one person. I told people that you can build this business online or offline. You just can't do it without the phone. And the phone, to me, is the critical ingredient. I have, for example, in my last team, I had someone that I had personally recruited was the number 3 recruiter in the company out of 700,000 people. And they never did home meetings. They never did hardly anything face-to-face. It was all phone work. It was all either, getting people to reach out to him through social media or whatever. So there is no one size fits all. As far as what I did, personally, when I first got serious about network marketing, I realized that I wanted to do my best to get people to reach out to me. So I started doing little videos here and there to try to get people to reach out to me, but I knew I couldn't live off of what that produced. So I had to go get the business. And so I called warm market, cold market. I called realtor signs. I grabbed business cards at coffee shops. I mean, I was just relentless with calling people. Now, when I say relentless, I was relentless with me hitting my prospecting numbers, but I was never relentless with any person, right? So I didn't chase, beg, bug. I didn't annoy. I didn't, try to close people that weren't interested. But I was very diligent on every single day. I was reaching out to people, and I had to get people in front of a presentation every single day.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question about your presentation is, hold on, I have two different questions.
Now, I will tell you though, my wife was probably 90% social media. So, when she started, she was 21 years old. Her warm market didn't want to have anything to do with it. And, they wanted to party. They didn't want to do anything with, building a business or anything. So she went to Facebook and prospected people she didn't know and got them in front of presentations. So, she really went after professionals. So, here she was, 21 years old, recruiting insurance salesmen, financial planners, real estate people, men and women. And so, she pretty quickly got to a 10,000 a month income, just mainly doing that. She did some other things, but mainly doing social media.
I love that. Okay, cool. Yeah. Kelly Garcia, she's actually the one that asked that question. She said, You don't bug, you just go after your number. So again, would you give us a general idea when you were in network marketing, what was your number? Your month, like, was it a monthly thing? Or was it like, in 90 days, I want to reach out to this many people? What was your number?
Yeah. So I had read a book called Go for No, and which, if you haven't read that, highly suggest it. I'm actually in the process. What's that?
They better have read it. That's something we talk all the time.
Book. Yeah, it's a good book, easy read, really solid. And actually, I'm very proud that we're actually working right now. Hopefully, first quarter next year, we'll be releasing a book together, me and the authors, Richard and Andrea, Go for No for network marketing. So it's actually specifically, not that you can adapt Go for No to network marketing, but this is specifically Go for No for network marketing. So I read that book and I just kind of picked a number. And, this is something that, I've been sharing this, this number and these stats for 7 years, and I would just suggest that don't, if you're not prospecting like hardly anybody, then don't take my number, because you probably aren't going to be able to stick with it. But I wanted to get 20 no's a day. So every single day before my head hit the pillow, I wanted to get 20 no's. And some of you probably know Eric Worre. He heard that story and he actually interviewed me, and we talked about that. So he did two videos that he kind of recently told me it was like his top 20 videos of all time as far as views and watches and everything. But yeah, I wanted to get 20, or I had to get 20 no's a day, every single day. And for me, if you read the book, then that probably makes sense. If you haven't read the book, then you might be like, well, law of attraction, man, I don't want no's. And really what it's about is for you to lessen your energy around no and to stop feeling so rejected. And I think a lot of people, they hear a no, and I know I used to. If I heard a few no's, I was rushing to the ice cream, right? I'm just going to chow down and mellow out the rest of the day because I suck. And, so when I completely released my addiction to a yes and, didn't, have, just any problem with a no, I heard so many of them, it just wasn't a big deal. That was really powerful. So, I'm not saying that, 20 is the number, but I will tell you that a lot of times people tell me, I want to be a top earner. And the real easy question, I just say, okay, how many people did you prospect last week? And if it's not in the double digits, at least, they're not really trying to be a top earner. So, if they say, well, I just ordered my business cards, right, and I haven't talked to anybody yet. Well, there is no chance of being a top earner if you're not prospecting at least double digits. And I mean, at least a week, 10 a week would be just a bare minimum. So I went for, 20 no's a day. And before my head hit the pillow, I had to do that.
Okay. And so these people that you were going for no, are these cold and warm contacts, people you don't know? You said you were pulling numbers and contacts from anything that you could get them from. So I'm assuming cold and warm. Yeah,
it was all the above. So the two questions that I usually get when I share this story is, one, where'd you find all those people, right? And so I got that question so much that I actually created an audio that details where I found all those people. We give that audio away for free on our website at rayhigdon.com. It's 29 sources of leads. It's free audio if you'd like it. But yeah, it was warm, it was cold. And also some of that was follow-up, like sometimes, so when I was, I had my little yellow pad and I would, had all my numbers, and, when I would talk to someone, I would add it to the pad. And when I would follow up with them and I would get a no, I actually put a check, right? So I'd put a little check. And unless someone was really just nasty, I mean, if someone was just like cursing me out, then I was going to follow up with them. So if they curse me out, I just permanent marker their name, and I'm never going to call them ever again, because they've lost the opportunity to work with me, right? Because I value my time, and I value who I spend, my time with. And I don't want someone on the team that would treat someone that terribly, because I don't have an aggressive approach. I'm not attacking you, right? I'm asking you some questions. I'm seeing if you're open. And if you're super negative about that, then I just don't want to work with you. And, so there were times that I may get, 6, 7 no's from one individual, obviously not the same day, but, spread out over a few months. And I remember, one guy that had been in a company with me previously, I reached out to him. I believe he told me 7 times no. I eventually got him in, and he became a 6-figure earner. And so just know that some of my very best people told me no at first, and some of them told me no quite a few times. So, I think that's probably one of the bigger mistakes that people make in network marketing is you take no as a no forever. And that's rarely the case.
Very, very true. We have 2 very skeptical women on the call that were my hardest no.
Nice.
I'm talking Facebook blocking,
Wow.
Neighborhood that said run if you see Emily. So, okay. So you're reaching out to people. You're going for no. People start saying yes. You start building a team. What are your 3 tips for sustainable duplication?
Yeah. So 3 tips. So I would say 1 is know that everyone has different goals, right? And one of the mistakes that I made early on was I just assumed everyone wanted to totally kill it just like I did. And, I worked with a gentleman named Larry Thompson, and Larry, he traveled the world with Jim Rohn for 9 years. He's been around a long, long time. And, he told me in some of our coaching and some of our mentoring, he's like, Ray, probably about 5% of any team actually wants and really strives to make more than $30,000 a month. And, there's another percentage that, want 30,000. There's a much larger percentage that wants 10,000, and there's a much, much, much larger that wants 1,000. And then there's even a greater amount that wants $500 and they're happy. And so when I first, started building that team, I assumed everyone wanted to kill it, just like I did, wanted to be a top earner. And so if you weren't prospecting 10 people a day, you just weren't serious. What's wrong with you? And that is ridiculous, right? And so the problem with it, because some people might say, well, hey, you might lift some people up, right? And those are the alphas, right? That's the 3 to 5% of any given team. They're saying, yeah, man, they should be prospecting 10 people. And, the problem with that is if you make someone feel like they're disappointing you, they'll leave. No one hangs around, right? If I show up every day, if someone shows up into their relationship every day only to feel like they're disappointing the other person, they're going to leave. It's going to happen, right? And same with business, same with, relationships, same with, with anything. And so people stay where they feel good and they feel a part of something and they feel like they're, maybe, working on something bigger than them. And so from talking with, one of our clients, Robert Hollis, he had a team of 700,000 people. One of my clients, Nicola, she had a team of 300,000 people. And these are active clients with us. And I can tell you from spending a lot of time with these guys and women that have humongous teams, the majority of their teams aren't killing it, making money, but they're super happy to be part of the community. And so just recognize, I would say, number 1, recognize that people have different goals and be okay with that. Now, if someone comes to me and says, hey, I want to be a top earner. Okay, you coachable? Here's how you do it. And I'll tell them. Okay, so that'd be number 1. Number 2, understand the meaning of a system. Okay. So if you go to most network marketers and say, hey, do you guys have a system? They'll say, yeah, we show someone this presentation and we follow up with them, and that's their system. Well, that's part of a system. Okay. A system is, where do new people go to get their questions answered? How does someone uncover when they should be reaching out to upline versus customer support? Okay. Upline is not and should not operate as the mother hen and the back office administrator. That's what customer support is for. Okay. Upline should be there to support, encourage, set an example, make things easier for the team by learning new ways or tactics or whatever, and streamlining, the system. They're not there to check to see if you got your order, right? That's just not what upline is for. That's what customer support's for. And so defining out the actual system, which includes where do we send prospects to, et cetera. So the way that we always did that was we had a fast start training. So when someone would come on board, we'd say, okay, cool. Step one, go through the fast start training. And the fast start training didn't answer every question imaginable, but it showed you how to get your questions answered. So it pointed to a training archive. It pointed to, something in the back office where they could get, the questions answered. It went through scenarios where, hey, in these scenarios, you should go to customer support, not your upline. And so, having some kind of system that you're teaching to the people that come on board so that they know it's not all about them. If someone comes into your team and they think that the only way for them to build a large team is going to be charisma or skill set or whatever, most of them aren't going to build a team. When you help them to realize that it's like you got a system here, you got tools, you got resources, you got things that you can lean on where you don't have to do the heavy lifting, let the tools do it and let the resources and the system do it, then a lot more people will believe that they can have success. And I would say number 3. And this would be either prior to or at least during the enrollment, and that is set clear expectations. We need to all, as network marketers, stop saying it's easy. Okay, we need to stop telling people how easy it is to make lots of money in network marketing, and how you can, I'm just sitting back drinking eggnog, making thousands of dollars, and you can too, right? We need to stop doing that. We need to stop hammering that it's so easy message, because, one, it only turns off the weak. It only turns on the weak, but it turns off the more professional person. Like if someone came to me and said how easy something was and I could make big money with it, that actually is a turnoff to me because it doesn't make sense. And I feel like I'm being hyped. And so your higher quality kind of person is turned off by hype and turned off by ease of building a large income. And also, let's say that, you attract someone that's high quality and you pitch them how easy it is. Well, that's someone who might have worked hard had you not convinced them how easy it was. And so people will not, unmet expectations, I believe, are the number one reason that people leave. Number 2 would be culture community clashes. But number 1 is unmet expectations. If I'm brought in, told how easy it is, and then realize, hey, this is actually work, because it is, then you're going to have some people leave.
Sorry, my husband's touching buttons. Okay. It's so true. You kind of create that it's too good to be true. And that has me personally thinking, what have I put out there? I am a top earner in this company, and what are you putting out there for your teams? They are looking up to you, not just potentials, but your team members. They're looking at you, and here you are saying it's so easy, but in your team page, you're talking about all this hard work.
Right.
What's going on? So yeah, that's advice. Very, very great advice. How did you prioritize your income producing activities?
So this also can vary per person. How I did it is I had certain things that I just had to do. So I had to get my 20 no's a day, and I had to shoot at least 1 video a day. And that was just me. Not everyone shoots videos, but I wanted to shoot videos. I wanted to attract people to me. And so I'm more of a like a checklist kind of guy. Some people they're like, okay, I'm going to do 1 hour of prospecting, whatever numbers I hit, right? And you do an hour of prospecting, you'll build an empire, right? Hardly anyone actually does an hour of prospecting. And if they do, they're probably producing at a high level. For me, I didn't like, maybe, it's kind of like ADD or something. I don't know. I didn't like saying, an hour of doing something because I get distracted easily. But if you give me a number to hit, I'll hit that number. And that's, for me, it was me hitting my number. If you're on here and you're part-time, you ain't going to hit 20 a day. I'm just letting you know. At least I've never met anyone that did. And I've had people in my team. I remember I had this guy, Rob, in Sacramento, California, who he was working for a home builder, working 90 hours a week. He still prospected 5 people a day. And here's how he did it. Crazy. He would go to a gas station and he would be driving along, and when he needed gas, he would look for a busy gas station. He would never pull into a gas station where there's no one. He would look for a busy gas station, like around lunch. He would pull in while pumping. He would be prospecting people. Hey, buddy, nice car. Like, that's hungry. Like, most people, they think they need more time, but if you don't manage the time that you have, more time isn't going to help you. And so it's management of time, not abundance of time. And this is why it's usually a mistake. If someone's not producing, it's usually a mistake for them to actually quit their job, because 2 things happen. One, they actually become less duplicatable, because now when you're going to someone and saying, I'm full-time, well, that you may think is attractive, but people think, well, I can't be full-time. I can't do this. And, so you become less duplicatable. But number 2, if you're not, I just believe if you can't build this part-time, you also can't build it full-time. And it's because of time management. So your time management will dictate the velocity of your success. And as far as I saw someone ask, what is prospecting? So prospecting is where you're reaching out to an individual, online, offline, cold market, warm market, email, Facebook message. It's you initiating the conversation with an individual. Whereas I would consider marketing is more passive. Marketing is you're doing something you hope an unnamed individual reacts or responds to. So if I do a Facebook Live, I don't know who's going to be on there. If I do a blog or if I do a video, no idea who's going to be on there. I hope someone is, and I hope that someone reacts to it or responds to it. So that's kind of the difference between prospecting and marketing.
Love that. And it's true. You can't post a Facebook status and become a top earner. It just doesn't work that way. You're just marketing your brand. You're not prospecting and being intentional. These are great. I'm not even taking notes. I'm just going to have to rewatch this because it's really good. I'm like, I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so that's how you prioritize for you personally. So what have been the most productive and successful IPAs? And then once you discovered, okay, this was the best one, obviously prospecting, that's what I'm assuming. When did you decide to do this? Like for my team, we have power hours. So some of them love to go all in for an hour. Us that have kids, that's not an option. So we do like 15 by 4, 15 by 8, 15-minute increments, 4 15-minute increments to focus on one task at a time. But what did you find was most productive once you found that IPA that was working for you? How often is this something that we should be doing? Is it daily? Do you like Monday, Wednesday, Friday? How did you do it?
Yeah. So, I mean, there were a couple of things. I mean, one, I had my daily goal. I had to hit 20. And I mean, I've recruited people from, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TripAdvisor. I mean, I've recruited people from about every kind of website you can imagine. And I've done a lot of home meetings. I mean, at one point in my life, I was doing 2 to 3 meetings per day where I was the presenter. So I was rocking one at Calistoga at breakfast, and people would invite people to it. I was rocking I had a buddy that had, or I still have him, but he has a Italian restaurant in Naples, Florida. I was there for lunch, right? Doing another presentation in their back room. And then at night I was in someone's home. And so, I did that for months and months and months and months and months. However, I did that more for the team. Okay. So those kind of things, and then I did a lot of webinars, right? So those kind of things were more for the team because most people, they invite to recruit, and I recruit to invite. Okay. Here's the difference. So so most people, if there's a meeting going on, they'll call people and say, hey, I got this meeting going on. You should come and check it out. And so they're inviting to recruit at the meeting. And so with me, I always tried to, I would connect with a prospect and say, hey, I'm doing this thing. I think you should do it. Here, watch this short video. And I tried to recruit them before the meeting. And then if I recruit them, I say, hey, you know what? I wasn't even thinking about it, but we have a meeting tonight. You should bring some prospects. So, I would take, what most people would do, and that's get one person to a meeting. I would recruit somebody and get them to bring two to that meeting. And so, as far as income producing activities, it's, me on the phone. When I was, 18 or something like that, I did telemarketing, and, it sucked, terrible job, but you had to make 450 calls a day, right? There are no network marketers to make 450 calls a day. And so, but, I was, kind of honed in that, using the phone. And for me, the phone was always faster. I didn't have to shave. I didn't have to get ready. I didn't have to do whatever. I could just, hammer the phone. So I always was a big fan of the phone, but I would do meetings more for the team so they could invite people there and connect with them. So hopefully that answers your question there. Okay. But yeah, every day. I mean, prospecting is every day. And, one question that I've unfortunately heard a lot of people ask is, well, how many people we got to recruit? If you believe in what you're doing, why would you ever stop? Why would, if you believe in your product, there is no aspiring doctor that says, well, how many surgeries do I got to do? Right. I mean, they want to be a world-class surgeon. They want to get like a Nobel medical prize or whatever. I don't even know if that exists. Right. But, no one enters any career with what's the bare minimum I need to do to be world-class, except network marketing. Network marketing, it's how do I be $1 million earner? How many do I have to recruit? 30, 20, yeah. And so if you believe in what you have, opportunity, product, service, culture, team, leadership, training, why would you ever stop inviting people to come check it out and come be with you?
I like that. It's a great analogy. I'm gonna have to use that. Okay, so you have people that are joining you, right? You just said that you would recruit to invite. So when someone joins you, they've joined your opportunity, they said yes. How much did you throw at them? I know you said that everyone should have a plan. So do you just present that plan of this is how we operate, this is what we do? Do you send like for us personally, I'll give you an example. We have a Facebook group page. It has about 15 to 20 links, and they're different training videos from me and other top earners in our specific company. It's an open page. They can come and go as much as they like. There's no commenting. It's not a busy page. It's strictly a resource page. Is that something that you would present and say, this is where you start besides getting on the phone with them? What do you present to people when they first begin?
Yeah. So, there are a few things. So one, we would add them to our Facebook group and welcome them. And so, we had I don't know what, I think it was around like 6,000 people in this, in this Facebook group. And so, when we would welcome, they would get 150 hellos, right? Like, hey, welcome to the team, right? So it makes them feel like they're part of something outside of just themselves or just, me, right? Just I'm the only connection. So they're starting to get connected with different people. I would have them go through the Fast Start training, and I would find out, and our Fast Start training was, I think it was like 30, 40 minutes, something like that. And, I would just find out, okay, when will you be able to go through this? Because it's going to answer some of your questions. Let's schedule a follow-up call. So I send them through the Fast Start training, and I follow up with them. And that follow-up call, there's a couple things that I want to accomplish. One, I want to find out how are they going to play, right? Are they just want to be a customer, which is totally cool. High five, love you, welcome, right? Totally fine to be a customer. Now, over the years, I've had many, I'm just going to be a customer, become top earners, right? But if I push them too early, that doesn't usually work out. And so I want to find out, how are they going to play? Are they wanting to be a top earner right now? They want to be just a customer. There is no right answer. I just want to find out, because that's going to dictate some of my behavior. I am, no matter what their answer, I'm going to suggest they come to the next event, whatever that is. So, I did always push, my people to company events. And I'll tell you, I learned that from a guy. I was in a network marketing company years and years and years ago, probably back in 2007. Yeah, probably 2007. And there was this guy that, there's one thing that he did, and that is promote events. That's what he did. And this guy did $11 million over the span of like 4 years. He's so just crazily, like when an event was coming, he's renting vans, he's corralling people. He's just hardcore. And I just learned that is such an important thing. And so we never, ever would have anything, a training call, a home meeting, a lunch meeting, even a three-way call. We would never have anything where we didn't mention the next event. And so always building to the next event, because big decisions are made at big events. And so a lot of times I would have a customer, someone that just wanted to be a customer, they would go to the event, resonate with some story or hear something that really fired them up, and then they go out and crush it. And so those were, kind of the things. If they express to me, hey, I want to go crush this thing, they still at that point hadn't earned my time. And what I would do is I would give them homework, and I'd say, okay, cool. You're wanting to crush it. All right. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to follow, this training right here. And I would send them, prospecting training, how to reach out to people, how to follow up, et cetera. And I would say, go do this with 5 people and then report back in. And I want to hear how it went. And this would tell me how much attention I need to pay to them. If they didn't do it and we have a follow-up call and they say, oh man, I got busy, then, I know it's not urgent for me to spend a ton of time with them. And that may change, that wasn't a life sentence, but if someone wasn't willing to do the homework, then I'm going to focus my energies on who is. And that's kind of how I rolled, which that'll vary. Some leaders are very different with that, but I always looked at it as if I wanted time from somebody, I needed to earn it. And I wanted to teach that in a duplicatable way and teach them how to operate with their teammates as well.
I like it. No, we operate the same way. We call it running with our runners, and it's people that move their feet, not their mouths, because sometimes all talk, they don't do anything. Okay. Now, I know you liked your prospecting, so I'm assuming, because you were talking about going from event to event, your events that you personally hosted or you attended were right up there with prospecting. I feel like that's something that team-wide we don't do enough of. We don't host our own events or present the opportunity in person enough. Is that something that you did?
I know a lot of people that haven't done any of that stuff. Here's what I would say is a minimum. Okay. So if we're going from what I think is ideal to what I think is a minimum, at minimum, your team should be getting together. Okay. That's at minimum. Right. And that's, even we now obviously we're focused on our coaching and training business. So we have employees and contractors all over the country, one in Canada. And so every quarter we'll bring them down and we'll all meet and break bread. And I do think that's important. So, when we were running a team, we did have a large local team. We had a large international team, but we also had a large local team too. And we constantly had, pool parties, barbecues, and different things where we would break bread together and spend time together. That is community. That's you connecting more with people. When we would go to a big company event, we always had a separate team meeting where we would connect with each other, see each other, and get pictures and all that stuff. And so that I would say is the minimum. I don't think it's a requirement to be presenting your opportunity face-to-face with people. I do think that there are some people that you'll increase your chances of bringing them on board if you do. So, I'm saying it's a way, and it's a way that I did a lot. I still of all the different ways that I personally did it, I still preferred, the phone. I felt I could just hit my numbers faster, and I was always I was always the biggest fan of a phone. Next would be running meetings in leveraged ways. And then I wasn't a huge fan of like one-on-ones. Wasn't my personal preference. But some people like that. I know some people have built empires off just doing one-on-ones with people. So it's always an option. And I don't think it's a mandatory or a requirement or something like that, but it's definitely a great option.
Okay, cool. So this is the question from some of our men on our team. How do you recruit the opposite sex without prospecting like some creepy perv that they don't know?
Yeah. So, there's a vibe, there's a vibe that, I'm around, all these different meetings and and a lot of times I'm doing like a keynote speech and there's one dude in the audience, right? It's all women. And so there's a vibe that you give off that a guy can give off, and women too. And I'm just always in business mode when I'm around other females. And, I'm not overly joking with them. I'm not throwing that vibe of flirtatious or trying to be funny or clever or whatever. I'm really focused on business. And, so if someone's looking for, to be cynical, skeptical, or think that you're up to no good, they're going to find that and just move on. It's going to be a lot easier than trying to convince someone you're not up to that. But a lot of it is just in your energy of how you're approaching. If I was approaching, and I recruited a lot of women, I would say I probably did recruit more men than women. But as far as coaching clients, I have way more women than men. I don't know why that is. But, if I'm approaching a woman and I wanted to recruit her, I would just say, I would compliment, her smarts, right? I would compliment, not her looks, right? I would compliment, hey, you seem really sharp, and listen, we work with a lot of smart individuals. I'd love to share with you the side project that I'm doing. And if you're game to check it out, awesome. If not, totally cool. I understand. So there's zero flirtatious about that, or weird or creepy or anything like that. So that would be that. I mean, one, and maybe, maybe you can, if you wanted, of course, you could chat with my wife, because one thing that always was interesting to me is, here my wife was 21 years old, super hot, right? She's awesome. And she's prospecting these, 40, 50-year-old men that are, professionals, that are financial planners, realtors. That always baffled me, because I know how quick guys are to go to, sweet, hot girl prospecting me, right? I think maybe more than women, I don't know. But that always interested me, how she was able to overcome that, because I mean, she recruited some real heavy hitters. She recruited this one guy out in California. He was the head of a financial office who paid to bring his entire office in. Like everyone in the office, he brought into the team to be on auto ship and be in the company. And she found him through Facebook. It was crazy. So, I would just say for the guys, I just wouldn't drop, the flirtation, kind of energy. Just compliment smarts, say they seem sharp, would love to share with you what I got going on. If you're not open to it, totally cool. And I think that's, one thing that we always teach in our prospecting is, the goal isn't to close everybody. The goal should be just see who's open. If you just focus on trying to find people who are open, then one, you'll talk to more people. Two, you'll feel energetically better, because there's nothing worse than trying to convince somebody against their will. And, and three, you'll find them. You'll find people that are looking.
Okay, I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
One, earlier you mentioned the people that just want to come on as customers. We call them wholesalers in our business. how do you go about loving on them and checking in on them to see if they are going to purchase without coming off as ingenuine or like, hey man, I'm like 10 points from my next promotion and you have like $6 away. Help me out. Like, how did you approach people like that? I don't know if that's how your ranking system worked, but how do you love on them when you do need something from them?
So I'm probably a little weird to ask that question too, because my mind only works with value. So I literally hate favors. Like I'm not a fan of favors. I'm not a fan of asking someone for a favor. I'm much more, if I want something from someone, I'm going to construct a scenario that is a big win for them. And so, and I'll give you a great example. So every year for years, I don't know, 8-9 years, something like that. Every year we raise money for different charities. And one of them is the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And so they gave me a nice, I got a plaque over there. They gave me a nice plaque because we've raised, I think close now to $100,000. And even in that, so I'll go to my email list and I've done this for quite a few years, but I'll go to my email list and I'll say, hey, we're raising money for this, for the MDA, and it's a great thing. It's working on, helping with different, diseases and helping, send kids to summer camp and, that can't afford it. And, I had, it was, pretty awesome. I went to one event and this girl I've never met came up and, hugged me and said, hey, because of what you did, we were able to get a wheelchair. Right. And it's just like, super awesome. And, but even in that kind of scenario, I go to my email list and I say, hey, we're raising money for this. If you donate X, I'll do a coaching call with you. So even in that scenario, I'm always thinking value. I'm never thinking, do me a favor because you like me or I helped you move once upon a time or whatever. I'm always thinking what's in it for them. And if you run your life that way, what's in it for them, and that's just how you roll, your life will be completely changed, right? I don't feel entitled to a darn thing. I don't think anyone owes me anything. I think, I got to wake up and I got to earn my keep every single day. And that includes, and some people feel weird when I say this, but that includes my marriage. Every single day, I gotta wake up. I can't just say, hey, you're a married woman, I don't need to respect you or treat you good anymore. No, I got to earn that every single day. And so, I look at how can I bring value to my relationship every single day? How do I bring value to my business relationships? I don't look at entitlement. I don't look at, well, they owe me this or they agreed to this. And so if I wanted something from someone, I would just ask myself, what is it that they would like? What is it that would help them out? So maybe it's, maybe they run a hair salon and they're a customer, right? And so I may call them and say, hey, I'm reaching out to you, and I got to be honest, I have a selfish desire for me reaching out to you, but I got something that I think you'll like too. And so I might say something like, hey, listen, I'm real close to the next rank. And, if you need any product and you're planning on ordering it anyway, boy, if you did it today, it'd be fantastic. However, I was thinking that maybe it would help you bring in some business if I did a short video at your hair salon. And so I was going to swing by today and shoot a quick video and do this. And, again, if you need to order some products, that'd be super, super awesome. And so I'm never going to go with, hand out nothing in return, because the truth is, and my buddy Bob Berg says this, but the world doesn't care about your sales quota. They don't give a rat's ass about your sales quota. They care about what's in it for them. They care about why should I help you? And so that's just how I operate. That's how I think constantly. And, some of my friends will be like, dude, you don't have to do this thing for me to do this. I'll just do it because you're my friend. I'm like, cool, but it's just not how I operate.
Love that. Like it. It's true. And it's not organic. So I think people that are trying to promote in their organizations and you think you just go butter people up, they place an order. Well, then what about next month? You're just going to butter them up for the rest of your career. It's not organic. Great advice. Okay, I think everyone is absolutely dying to know how in the heck you cold messaged all these randos that you didn't know, these real estate people that you came across, the business cards you would pick up at Starbucks. What the heck did you say to these people?
Sure. So I got this advice from, I actually went to an event and I spent some money and spent a little bit of time with, I guess, a controversial figure, and that's the Wolf of Wall Street, right? Jordan Belfort. And so, some people absolutely hate him. Hey, I get it. Unethical, all kinds of different things. But dude is a crazy trainer. I mean, he's like an amazing, amazing trainer as far as tactics and strategies. And like, I understand what marketing methods he used to do what he did. Whether you like it or not, there's still some things to learn from. And one of the things that I heard him teach was fast disqualification. Fast disqualification. Now, they actually talk about this in the Go for No book, and they talk about it in regards to door-to-door insurance salesmen. So they took a group of door-to-door insurance salesmen that normally would go to the door and say, hello, I'm with blah, blah, blah insurance company, and did you know, yada, 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 right? And they do this big, long pitch, and then they would close whatever percentage they closed. Well, they changed it to knock on the door. You're not looking for insurance, are you? Like super fast. And so they got a quick yes or no, so they moved on. So they simply talk to more people. So when it comes to cold, these are people that don't know you. My style. Now, some people, you may be on here and you're like a super connector, right? You can just like, you meet a stranger and they love you. They're your best friend the next day. That's not me, right? I mean, I can be friendly to people and I can be nice or whatever, but I don't, whatever that is, I don't possess that trait. And so I like fast disqualification. So if I'm, there used to be, where I used to live, there was a car wash around the corner, and I would drive around the corner and they had this big billboard of, probably 40, 50 business cards. And I would go there every once in a while, grab a bunch of business cards and just start calling. And I would just say, hey, you know what? I was at the car wash and saw your business card. I see that you're in commercial real estate. That's awesome. How long have you been in commercial real estate? Now I'm going to ask them a quick question. And then I'm going to look for an opportunity to ask them the questions and just say, hey, I have no idea if what I'm about to share with you, you'd even be open to. I don't know if I'm barking up the right tree. I don't know if, this is anything that you'd be open to at all. But we actually work with a lot of blank, okay, a lot of real estate people. And I have a side project. I'd love to share it with you. If you're open to it, great. If not, no big deal. But it's something that wouldn't interfere with what you're currently doing. And if you're game to check it out, great. And if not, again, no big deal. And so it was a very short conversation. And, my kind of style was I spend a very little amount of time with a prospect, get them to a tool. Okay. And so the transition there would be, hey, I got this short video, does a much better job than I could ever hope to do of explaining the opportunity and how it works. And, by the way, at the end of the day, we may determine that this still isn't a fit for you, and that's totally fine. But this video would help us determine that. And so I'm going to push them to that video. After that video, I'm calling them and I'm saying, hey, did you get a chance to watch the video? Yes, great. What did you like best? And I'm going to listen. And here's where I spend more time. I'm going to listen. And, I'm going to, if they say, well, I really like the idea of making more money. Well, why is that important to you? How come that's important? What does that mean? Like, do you have any goals? Are there certain things where you need to make money? I'm going to ask them questions and they're going to give me all the ammunition I need. If they've jumped through those steps, they're going to give me all the ammunition I need to get them on board.
I like it. Do you know, I don't know if you know him personally, Bob, your online, Bob Kealing, I think is his last name. Are you friends with him?
Bob hired me last August. And so when Bob hired me last August, he had never made a dime online. And he had shot one video, had never made a dime online. And so, yeah, he came, he joined our mastermind program, and I gave him a plan. He ran with it very, very well. And I believe he's now done. I think he might be our fastest student to hit $1 million. And I actually went up last Friday he asked me to come up and speak at his mastermind. So I drove up and spoke with him. So Bob's amazing, incredible. And by the way, when I say, yes, he hired us. Yes, he's a student. Yes, he, is a coaching client of ours. But he did the lifting. Okay. So just like a personal trainer, I can't hire a personal trainer to get a six pack for me. I got to do the lifting. So we gave him some steps. He implemented like crazy. So he deserves everything he's got.
Ooh, that was good. On point. Y'all hear that? Go to the gym. Just kidding.
That's right.
No, we love Bob and we love you. We share your stuff all the time.
Cool.
Probably half your viewers are our team. So, or Plexus people, period. So thank you so much for jumping on. I know you have like a million other things you could be doing, so we really appreciate it. Total fangirling. My husband is too. He just doesn't say hi.
What's up?
So we just thank you so much. I'm sure you'll get like a million messages. Thank you.
Oh,
we appreciate it. This video will be up on YouTube. I don't know if you like your recordings or anything like that, but I can get it to you.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
Awesome.